Stay quiet after disrespect. There's a moment, a split second after someone disrespects you where you have a choice. It's a choice not between right and wrong, but between noise and silence. And in that silence lies your power. Staying quiet doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're accepting what was said or done. Silence is strength. It's the ability to hold your peace in a world that thrives on chaos. It's the courage to decide that someone else's behavior will not dictate your response. Silence has often been misunderstood. In a world that encourages us to speak up, to defend ourselves at every turn, choosing silence can be seen as weakness. But silence, when chosen intentionally, is anything but weak. It is a profound act of strength. It takes immense courage to hold your tongue, especially in the face of disrespect. In those moments, the natural instinct is to defend, to fight back, to prove a point. Yet resisting that impulse requires more power than giving into it. Silence is not a retreat, it's a stance. It's an assertion of control over yourself, your emotions, and your actions. It says, I am choosing to act on my terms, not react on yours. To stay quiet when someone disrespects you is to step outside the game they're trying to play. It's refusing to let their words or actions dictate your behavior. There is strength in recognizing that your energy and your presence are valuable, and not everyone deserves access to them. When we stay quiet, we are not denying the wrong that has been done to us. Instead, we are choosing to process it in a way that doesn't compromise our dignity. Silence allows us to gather our thoughts, to find clarity amidst the storm of emotions. It creates space to reflect and to understand what's worth addressing and what isn't. It gives us the time to remember who we are and to ensure that any action we take aligns with that. Choosing silence is also a form of protection, not just from the person who disrespected us, but from the parts of ourselves that might lash out in anger or frustration. It's about safeguarding our peace and not letting someone else's behavior drag us into a place we don't want to be. It's about recognizing that not every battle needs to be fought and not every comment deserves a response. It's about safeguarding our heart, our mind, and not every comment deserves a response. Sometimes the greatest show of strength is walking away without a word, knowing that your silence speaks volumes. Silence isn't passive, it's active, it's deliberate. It's a decision to prioritize your values, your boundaries, and your emotional well-being. It's a declaration that you are not afraid to stand in your own power, even if it means standing alone. It takes bravery to remain calm when you are provoked, to keep your composure when someone else loses theirs. Silence isn't about submission or surrender. It's about sovereignty. It's about owning your response rather than letting someone else own it for you. There is a subtle but profound difference between responding and reacting. And understanding this difference can change the way we navigate conflict and disrespect. Reacting is immediate, instinctual, and often fueled by emotion. It's what happens when we let our impulses take over, when we feel the sting of someone's words or actions and rush to defend ourselves. Reactions are often driven by anger, frustration, or the need to prove a point. They can escalate a situation, turning a moment of disrespect into a prolonged conflict. Responding, on the other hand, is intentional, it's thoughtful, it's grounded in clarity and purpose. When we respond, we take the time to understand what has happened, to process our emotions, and to choose our words and actions carefully. A response comes from a place of control, while a reaction is often born from a place of vulnerability. Responding allows us to engage with the situation on our terms, rather than being pulled into the chaos of someone else's behavior. To respond instead of react requires a pause, a moment to breathe, to reflect, and to assess. That pause is where our power lies. It's in that space between action and reaction that we can decide how we want to move forward. Reacting is easy. It's almost automatic. Responding takes effort, patience, and a willingness to prioritize long-term outcomes over short-term satisfaction. When we react, we often mirror the negativity that's been directed at us. If someone yells, we might yell back. If someone insults us, we may feel the urge to hurl an insult in return. But when we respond, we break that cycle. We refuse to be drawn into their energy. We create the opportunity to address the situation with grace and strength, showing that our behavior is not dictated by theirs. That responding doesn't mean staying silent forever or ignoring what's been done. It means choosing the right time, the right words, and the right way to address the issue. It's about asking yourself, what do I want to achieve here, rather than reacting in a way that might undermine your own goals. Responding allows you to maintain your integrity and keep the focus on what truly matters, rather than getting lost in the noise of the moment. In responding, we also give ourselves the chance to understand the deeper dynamics at play. Disrespect often comes from a place of pain, insecurity, or misunderstanding. Reacting in kind only adds fuel to the fire. But when we respond thoughtfully, we create the possibility for resolution, or at the very least, we preserve our own peace. Protecting your peace is an act of self-preservation, a commitment to maintaining your emotional well-being in a world that can often be chaotic and unkind. It's about recognizing that your inner calm, your sense of balance, and your mental clarity are precious and worth safeguarding. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to feel pulled into their storm, to let their words or actions disrupt your equilibrium. But protecting your peace means refusing to let external negativity take root within you. To protect your peace is to set boundaries, not just with others, but with yourself. It's about knowing when to engage and when to step back. It's understanding that not every comment deserves a response, not every battle needs to be fought, and not every slight requires your energy. Your peace is not something to be given away lightly. It's a resource that you must guard with intention and care. Which doesn't mean ignoring problems or avoiding confrontation altogether. It means choosing when and how to address things in a way that prioritizes your well-being. Protecting your peace is about asking yourself, will engaging in this serve me? Will it help me grow, or will it drain me? It's the ability to discern between what's worth your time and what is better left untouched. When you prioritize your peace, you also create space for reflection. You allow yourself the opportunity to process situations fully before reacting. Disrespect can trigger immediate feelings of anger, hurt, or frustration, but rushing to act on those emotions can lead to regret. By protecting your peace, you give yourself permission to pause, to breathe, and to ensure that any response you give aligns with your values and your goals. Protecting your peace also means being mindful of the environments and people you surround yourself with. Negativity can be contagious, and the more time you spend in the company of those who disrespect you, the more it can chip away at your sense of self. Choosing to distance yourself from toxic relationships or situations is not an act of weakness. It's an act of profound strength. It's a declaration that your well-being matters more than pleasing others or fitting into spaces that don't honor you. At its core, protecting your peace is about self-respect. It's recognizing that you are not obligated to tolerate behavior that diminishes you or disrupts your calm. It's about standing firm in your worth and understanding that you have the right to walk away from anything that doesn't serve you. This isn't selfish, it's necessary. By protecting your peace, you preserve your ability to show up fully in the areas of life that truly matter. When someone disrespects you, it can feel personal, even deeply wounding, as if their words or actions are a direct reflection of who you are. But often the reality is far different. Disrespect says far more about the person displaying it than it does about the one receiving it. To understand their behavior and not own it is to free yourself from carrying burdens that were never yours to bear. People's actions are shaped by their own experiences, insecurities, and internal struggles. Sometimes disrespect stems from frustration, fear, or unresolved pain, and it may have nothing to do with you at all. Understanding this doesn't mean excusing their behavior or minimizing its impact. Instead, it's about reframing the situation so that you don't internalize their actions as a measure of your worth. When you take a step back and view someone's disrespect through the lens of their humanity, you create a buffer between their behavior and your sense of self. You begin to see their words or actions not as a judgment on you, but as an expression of something they are dealing with. This perspective doesn't absolve them of accountability, but it helps you maintain your emotional boundaries. Owning their behavior, on the other hand, can lead to unnecessary pain. It can make you question your value, replay the incident in your mind, and wonder what you could have done differently. But no amount of overthinking or self-blame can fix what wasn't yours to begin with. Their actions are a reflection of their inner world, not your worth or character. Understand their behavior is to cultivate empathy, not for their benefit, but for your own peace. Empathy doesn't mean accepting mistreatment or allowing others to cross your boundaries. It means recognizing that everyone is fighting battles you may not see, and their actions are often a projection of those battles. When you approach the situation from this perspective, you create emotional distance. You allow yourself to see their disrespect as separate from your identity. This shift in perspective also gives you the clarity to respond rather than react. When you don't own their behavior, you're less likely to take it personally and more likely to address it with composure and confidence. You can hold them accountable if necessary, but you do so without letting their negativity seep into your own sense of self. Understanding their behavior also means setting limits on how much you allow their actions to affect you. It's about reminding yourself that you are not responsible for fixing or managing their emotions. You can acknowledge their struggles without making them your own. You can see their disrespect for what it is, an expression of their inner turmoil, without letting it define your reality. And choosing dignity over drama is a conscious decision to prioritize your self-respect and integrity over temporary satisfaction or validation. In moments of conflict or disrespect, the pull toward drama can be incredibly strong. There's an urge to defend yourself, to match someone's energy, or to prove a point in the heat of the moment. But drama is fleeting, often destructive, and leaves behind a wake of regret, while dignity is lasting and builds a foundation of self-worth that can't be easily shaken. Dignity is about knowing your worth and refusing to let anyone diminish it. It's about understanding that your character is not up for debate, no matter how others may try to provoke you. When you choose dignity, you are making a statement not to the person who disrespected you, but to yourself that you are committed to protecting your values and staying true to who you are. Drama, on the other hand, thrives on chaos and often pulls you away from your authentic self. Drama feeds on escalation. It demands that you react quickly and emotionally, often without considering the consequences. It might feel satisfying in the moment to respond with sharp words or to engage in the back and forth of an argument, but what does it leave behind? Drama drains your energy, distracts you from what truly matters, and can pull you into a cycle of negativity that's hard to escape. When you choose dignity, you rise above that pull. You step out of the storm instead of letting it consume you. Choosing dignity doesn't mean you avoid addressing issues or allow others to walk over you. It means addressing things with intention, clarity, and respect for yourself. It's about understanding that how you handle conflict says more about you than the conflict itself. Drama seeks to win the moment. Dignity seeks to win the long game. It's about preserving your reputation, your self-esteem, and your peace of mind, even in challenging situations. Dignity also creates space for thoughtful reflection. It allows you to step back and ask yourself what's really worth your time and energy. When someone disrespects you, their goal might be to provoke a reaction, to bring you down to their level. By choosing dignity, you refuse to play their game. You hold yourself to a higher standard, not for their approval, but because you know your value and refuse to compromise it for a fleeting confrontation. Drama thrives on an audience, on the spectacle of conflict, but dignity requires no witnesses. It's a quiet, unshakable confidence that comes from within. It's about knowing that your worth is not determined by how loudly you defend it or how many people see you standing up for yourself. True dignity is self-sustaining. It doesn't need external validation. When you choose dignity, you prioritize solutions over arguments, peace over chaos, and long-term respect over short-term reactions. It's about asking yourself, what kind of person do I want to be in this moment? And making choices that align with that vision. It's about holding on to your composure even when others lose theirs and staying focused on what truly matters, your integrity, your values, and your own well-being. Focusing on growth rather than validation requires a shift in perspective, a deep understanding that your worth is not contingent upon external approval or the applause of others. In a world that constantly encourages comparison and external benchmarks of success, it can be easy to lose sight of your own journey and begin measuring your value by how others perceive you. Validation, while comforting in the short term, is fleeting. It is dependent on others' opinions, which can change on a whim, and it often leaves you in a cycle of seeking approval instead of nurturing your own personal evolution. Growth, on the other hand, is something that is within your control. It is constant, grounded in the work you do on yourself, and it doesn't rely on anyone else's acknowledgement to exist. When you focus on growth, you are setting yourself on a path of continuous improvement, not just for the sake of others, but for your own fulfillment. This means shifting your attention from the external to the internal, from seeking praise for your actions to seeking understanding and development from your experiences. Growth is about challenging yourself to go further, to do better, and to understand more deeply. It's about evolving into a version of yourself that you can be proud of, not because someone else told you you're doing well, but because you know it within your own heart. Validation often comes with conditions. It's contingent on meeting expectations, pleasing others, or fulfilling a role that has been assigned to you. The approval you seek might come in the form of likes, comments, or recognition. And while these things can feel good in the moment, they are fragile. They are based on others' assessments, which may not always reflect the true essence of who you are or what you've accomplished. Growth, however, is self-referential. It is built on the foundation of your personal experiences, the lessons you learn from failure, and the resilience you develop along the way. When you focus on growth, you no longer need to rely on others' validation to feel worthy because you find validation within yourself through the progress you make. This shift in focus does not mean that external feedback is irrelevant. Constructive criticism and feedback from others can be valuable tools for growth. However, the key is in how you receive and integrate that feedback. When you focus on growth, you are open to feedback, but you are not defined by it. You evaluate it with discernment, understanding that it's a tool to refine your journey, not a measurement of your value. Focusing on growth means accepting that you will not always be perfect, that mistakes are part of the process, and that every setback is an opportunity to learn and improve. This mindset allows you to embrace challenges, knowing that they are the very things that shape you into a more evolved version of yourself. When validation becomes your primary goal, it can create an unhealthy dependency on others. Your self-esteem becomes tied to their opinions, and when that approval is absent or withheld, it can leave you feeling empty, unworthy, or lost. Growth, in contrast, is a deeply personal journey. It is about setting your own goals, measuring your progress on your terms, and celebrating the incremental steps you take, no matter how small they may seem. By focusing on growth, you cultivate a sense of inner strength and confidence that is immune to the fluctuations of external approval. You learn to trust yourself, your instincts, and your abilities to move forward. Focusing on growth also means prioritizing long-term fulfillment over short-term rewards. Validation can often come in the form of quick fixes, temporary pleasures, or external recognition that fades just as quickly as it arrives. But growth is a long-term commitment. It's the process of becoming the person you are meant to be, not based on what others think of you, but on the depth of your own character, your values, and your contributions. It is a journey that you take for yourself, knowing that the rewards of growth are more lasting and meaningful than any fleeting external validation could ever be. Ultimately, when you focus on growth, you are not waiting for permission to evolve. You are actively taking steps each day to become the best version of yourself. You stop seeking external approval to validate your existence and instead find fulfillment in the work you put into your own development. You no longer measure your worth by others' standards, but by your own capacity to learn, adapt, and overcome. This mindset shift allows you to embrace who you are in the moment while also striving toward who you can become, not for the praise of others, but for the joy of your own journey and the deep satisfaction that comes from knowing you are always growing. In moments of disrespect, it's essential to remember that you hold the power to shape your response, your emotions, and your journey. Choosing silence over reaction, dignity over drama, and growth over validation are not just passive acts, they are conscious decisions to preserve your peace, protect your self-worth, and elevate your own sense of self. These choices are not about avoiding conflict, but about responding with intention, understanding, and strength. They are about acknowledging that your value is not determined by others' behavior or opinions, but by how you choose to carry yourself through every moment of challenge and change. When you focus on your growth, when you choose dignity, and when you remain quiet in the face of disrespect, you're not only preserving your own well-being, but you're also teaching those around you what it means to move through the world with grace, confidence, and resilience. Your actions become a reflection of your inner strength, not just in the moments of peace, but most powerfully in the moments of adversity. So, as you move forward, remember that every choice you make, how you respond to disrespect, how you manage conflict, how you pursue growth is an opportunity to honor the person you are becoming and to show the world the depth of your character.